state your name and if you have a social tag or maybe even your store name. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be great. Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Theo, Captain East. I've owned Pacific Coast Hobbies. Started it in 2003. So it's been almost 22 years of running a hobby shop. And I've been in hobbies. Well, my website is pacificcoasthobbies.com. And my handle is usually pchobbies.com, which people think that it's like a computer store, but it's not. It just abbreviates for Pacific Coast and then Hobbies. You can find us on just about everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're just about everywhere. How I got started in RC, it's very simple. I was, I think 7 or 8 years old. My dad is a, wow, we just went
Yeah.
in a circle.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going straight the whole time. Okay. My dad was a professional hobbyist sports SCCA race car driver. He raced Mini Coopers. He raced Renault Lecar R5s. And then he raced bigger late model stock cars, sports cars, like big Chevys, Camaros, Chevy Luminas, those sort of things, Monte Carlos. He raced those for quite a while. So racing was in my blood, and I grew up going to the track with him. And like I said, when I was like 7 or 8, he got me a Christmas present. He brought it home, and it was an RC10 when they first came out. So let's do the math here. I was born in 75, so this was like 82, 83. Got my first RC10. Gold pan, short arms, 6-gear transmission. And, you know, I was a young lad, so I couldn't build it. But, and my dad, even though he worked on race cars and built race cars, he didn't have the skill for the kind of the small kind of skill that it needed to build a remote control car. So I think we took it to a hobby store in Hermosa Beach. There was a small hobby store, and we paid the guy there to build it, which is ironic because all these years later, I have a hobby shop and I build it for people that maybe don't have the time or skill to build it. So it's kind of fun. I didn't race, obviously, at 7. I just kind of tinkered around at the racetrack with my dad. I had a Futaba. I think my first transmitter was a Futaba. And my second transmitter was also Futaba, but it was a kind of a higher end transmitter, and the top of the transmitter swiveled. So I had it swiveled the wrong direction. So I'm right-handed, but I drove left-handed. That being said, I started racing a little bit older, kind of late elementary school, early middle school. I had some friends that were into RC, but actually a lot of friends. Some friends I met from RC, but I had a friend, Tyler, that was in RC, and Bobby, and so we kind of raced. As I got older, I met a guy named Jose. We raced together over at Ascot. So it makes the hobby a lot more fun when you're doing stuff with your friends, right? So I was racing with my friends, having a good time. I'd go to, you know, we didn't have really a local track. So our local track, when I first got my car, it was a store right down the street from my shop now. It was called TQ Hobbies. Again, this was back in the 80s, and they had an on-road track and an off-road track outdoors. So that's where my dad bought my first car. Oh, there's somebody standing here. Is he camping? Yeah. This is I don't know what they're doing.
I lost you, so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
I'm coming back. So they had a track, an outdoor track, but by the time I was old enough to go and race and have fun and all that, it was closed. So the closest track to me was Ascot, which is more of an off-road. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. It was more of an off-road track, more of an oval track than let's say jumps and stuff. They did have jumps and all that, but I got my mom to take me to a couple tracks down in Costa Mesa. So RCH and RCHR were the tracks that I spent most of my time. Where I'd rush home from school, get in the minivan, my mom would drive me down there, do a club race, and then get home go to bed and go to school the next day. It was tough because it was at least 45-minute to an hour drive with all that traffic. Yeah, it was interesting. Do you see me?
Where are you?
Okay, I'm coming back around.
Oh, okay.
Oops, gotta see how to drive backwards here.
It's fine.
So yeah, moving on. You know, I got really into RC racing. I got my first, you know, I started out with a swiper speed control. I don't know if anybody knows what those are, but I really got a Novak pretty quick when I started racing, the first Novak speed control. I remember going into RCH and they had it in this glass case right in the middle of the of their like little hobby shop. And that really changed everything back in the day, was having, oh, there you are. Okay.
How did you even get down here?
I don't know.
Whoa, that was a nasty tree stump there. But yeah, sorry, go
Okay,
ahead.
you following me?
Yeah.
Okay, so that really changed everything and made things a lot more enjoyable, having an electronic speed control. The Novaks back in those days ran really well. I raced, not really competitive, had fun with my friends, club racing. Then when I was about 13, I went to Ascot and they said they were moving the hobby shop. And they moved right down the street from where I live in the Rolling Hills Plaza. So my mom said, why don't you see if you can help them out over the summer, like get a job there. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm 13. I don't know if I want to have a job, but yeah, I can go help them out. So over the summer, I helped them move from Ascot to their new location, which was in Torrance, in South Torrance, which was awesome. And then as I got a little bit older, I got an official job there. And I worked there for, I don't know, a while. I worked for this guy named Cliff Fisher. He was an interesting fellow. I'm in the parking lot. Are you in there?
Yeah, I'm making my way over there.
Okay.
Surprisingly, the goggles you have actually performs way better than mine.
Yeah, the goggles are working really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, all right, here we go.
All right, we're coming back this way.
Hopefully, it don't get ran over. All right, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back on the trail.
Okay, yeah.
So I worked there. Then I worked for a place called Hobby Shack, which became Hobby People, which is now closed. But they were a huge Southern California hobby chain. At one time, they had like 22, 24 stores. I worked in the Lawndale store. And the store manager there, a guy named Ron, he got me into oval racing at the velodrome in Carson, Dominguez College. So that now I'm in high school. So I've been racing on and off, junior high, high school with my buddies. And now I'm doing a little bit of velodrome racing, which I just loved. NASCAR back in the 90s was the best. I was a big Earnhardt fan, Dale Earnhardt. So it was just awesome. I did that. And then after high school, you know, I was busy starting my life and my career in computer consulting. So I was like doing networking, computer networking and consulting and all that good stuff. My buddy, Jean-Pierre, he got me into that when in high school, and I made it a career, which was fun. And so a little bit after that, one of my high school buddies got me back into RC. He's like, hey, let's go down to the track. They got a new track down in Orange County, SoCal. And I think it was in Garden Grove. So we went down there. I brought my RC10, I think black tub chassis with 3-gear transmission. And oh, look what's down here. This is pretty cool. You following me?
Yeah.
Okay, so and he was racing. He bought a brand new like B2, I think it was, and the B3 had just came out. So I kind of I owned every RC10 except for the B2. I went straight to the B3 because these aluminum chassis kind of cars could not handle the new modern, if you want to call them supercross, big jump tracks. And so I got the B3. I think I had like 10, 12 of those, and I really loved it. I loved racing. I loved that scene. It still was far from my house, but now I could drive. I didn't rely on my mom to take me to the track. I could just get in the car with my buddies and go down there myself. So I did it. SoCal closed, opened up a new track raced there quite a bit. I wasn't a weekly club racer kind of guy. I was more of, you know, when I had the time, I'd get down there and run. I think we already did this path. Let's see if we can find some different paths. You know, I did the big races, mostly club race when I could. And then, I don't know what year it was, maybe around 2000. I'm gonna make a U-turn up here. Around 2000, I started racing a little bit more seriously. I was never a professional sponsored RC car racer, but the guys I hung out with at the time, they are all some of the best racers in the world. So I got to experience hanging with them, learning how to adjust cars and tune cars and all that stuff, set up stuff, and how to mount tires, and getting a little stuck here. I learned all that from a bunch of pros. Brian Kinwald, he got me into racing for Losi. Oh, well, I'm a little stuck, huh? Okay, let me try to get out of here. He got me to racing Losi, which was awesome. So I was always Captain America running my associated gear, but I hung out with him, and I hung out with Kinwald and the Cavaliers and Andrew Swanson and Newman and Newman Body and all a bunch of old school guys, Steve Weiss, and they were all running Losi because of Kinwald. So this is the shrubbery we want to stay out of, right?
Yes. I don't know if you're having any video issues, but
I rolled over.
Oh, okay, I'll go get you.
Okay.
I'll
Want to keep talking, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't even know where I am, but I'm rolled over.
I know where you're at.
So.
You can ignore that.
Okay. So yeah, I was friends with those guys. They welcomed me into their like little club, and I started racing Losi. Kinwald gave me a buggy and a truck and a gas truck, and started racing. Kind of, you could say kind of full time, maybe 3 weeks out of the month, and I would travel with those guys, and I went to just about every race they did. I never went to Columbus, but I went to a lot of races, Silver State and Nitro Challenge.
That's so awesome.
Is somebody picking me up?
Yeah, the kids are actually helping you up.
So I started racing with those guys. I met Jason Coral and Travis Mescua and Adam Drake, and I started going to these big races, and I was racing quite a bit.
He's teleporting me. Yes, go ahead, sorry. Oh, okay, there you are.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So I started racing with these guys, and I started getting faster and faster. Now, I was racing in kind of the open class. Oops. I was racing in open class, not in like a pro class or anything, but I was doing well. Oh.
You know, if they start coming back, the
and
is like killing our signal.
I can't see.
Yeah,
I'm lost.
They might be able to help you out.
So I started racing. I started TQing classes, sometimes 2 classes in one weekend. I TQ'd the Cactus Classic, which was a big electric 10-skill class. I TQ'd both classes, truck and buggy. I ended up winning truck. I didn't win buggy, but I won truck. The next weekend, we were in Vegas for the Silver State. I TQ'd 8-scale buggy. That's what you said you were getting into. So I TQ'd 8-scale buggy nitro, and I TQ'd 10-scale nitro truck. Ended up winning buggy. I was leading gas truck the whole race, and just kind of lost concentration, clipped a pipe, and broke. But it was fun. That was all before I opened the hobby store. Right before I opened the hobby store, so I could spend a lot of time focusing on racing, going racing, enjoying, watching my friends' careers bloom. You know, I met Ryan Cavalieri, 4-time world champion. I met him when he was 13. I met his dad, and he invited me to a race, and we became friends, and we raced together for about 2 years. And seeing him win world championships and national titles was pretty awesome.
I'm trying to find where you're at. Okay, we're back. So you were talking about You're talking a little bit about buggies there for a second.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, racing. Yeah, well, you had asked me at one time where did I get all those trophies. So most of those trophies came from before I opened the hobby shop, when I was racing quite a bit, back around 2000, 2001, 2002. I raced quite a bit, and in the open class, sportsman class, I did fairly well. Silver State, Nature Challenge, Cactus Classic, Sidewinder race. I did pretty good. Reedy Truck race, the shootout. I won a bunch of classes. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed racing. So that kind of brings me to open the hobby shop. So I know I wanted to be in the hobby. I wanted my income to come from it. Oh yeah, we cleared that. All right. Sometimes these big sticks. All right, let's get around these people here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I there you are.
Yeah. We're right here.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do, in the RC industry. I definitely didn't want to be in retail. I had been in retail with my computer business for a long time, like working in hobby shops, then working in computer stores. So I knew I didn't want to go into retail. I was thinking I wanted to be a distributor or some type of manufacturer. And my friend at the time, Tracy Howard, was like, they don't need more distributors, unless you have something fresh and new to invent, you can't just slap your name on a battery and motor. I mean, it seems like people do that these days, but, she was like, I don't know, Theo, what you want to do. And I was like, what about a store? What about an online store? She was like, no, you don't want to do that. Anyways, after about 30 minutes of going back and forth with her, she was like, okay, let me tell you what you need to do. And she really helped me kind of laying the business plan for opening a hobby shop. So when I opened my hobby shop, I had a business plan. I financed it myself in the beginning, but eventually I got an SBA loan, which takes, a really good business plan for the bank to approve. So I did that. I followed my business plan for a while in my store. I started it myself. I didn't have any partners. My wife that now pretty much runs it, I didn't know her at the time, so I started it by myself. And then when I met her and we started dating, to get our schedules to align, she started working at the store. And, she's been there kind of taking over more responsibilities all the time. So
that works out, huh?
Yeah. The website thing didn't work out well for me. I wasn't as good as building websites and managing websites as I thought. I was better at doing the brick and mortar kind of retail thing. So that's kind of what, ooh, that looks cool. What is that? So I kind of just grew the retail side of it, and we still sold on eBay. I didn't mention that, but we started the hobby shop selling on eBay. So I continued to do that, hired employees to help me obviously with the store and with eBay. And we've been doing that ever since. We've built websites for the store over the years. It takes a lot of work to get them right and to do it right. So we built a new website a couple years ago, and we've been slowly working on it. But over the summer, we're putting a lot more effort into it to kind of get that website where it needs to be.
Well, just to speak a little bit about your store, because we supply you with some products also. I get calls from around the world, literally around the world. It's like, yeah, I bought this. I need a service. It's like, where'd you get it? Look, I bought. I'm in Germany. It's like, where'd you buy it from? It's like Pacific Coast Hobbies.
That's funny.
Yeah, people like in Virginia, like, where are you at? We're in Virginia. It's like, where'd you buy it? Pacific Coast Hobbies. Like, how? It's like, oh, we're on vacation and we visit the store and pick stuff up. So yeah, you guys are actually doing a really good job from my perspective.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just tumbled
Oh, okay.
that away.
Which way? Okay.
I think it's over
Let me go get it. Let me ask you one question so we can keep it going. So were you going back to your racing days? Were you like sponsored by any teams?
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll go into that. So when I first started racing kind of full time, I call it full time, I was not sponsored. My compadres were sponsored, and I kind of got help from them. So that's kind of how I got stuff in the very beginning. That being said, eventually by being, doing pretty well in open class, winning some big races, qualifying well, being a nice person also really helps. Being helpful, so helping out a team, that sort of thing, it really helps. It really helped me at the time get more support, but I was never like sponsored like a pro driver. I was more like an ambassador, and I had my moments of doing well. I got an ad in Car Action magazine, a couple magazines with Team Orion when I won the Cactus Classic with my electric truck. So that was pretty cool. But I focused more on having fun, hanging out with my friends than I did being a sponsored driver. Nowadays, though, it seems like that's some of these companies, it's their business plan is to sponsor drivers, even though they don't do support. They don't, let's say, have great results racing. It's kind of just a way for a hobby manufacturer to make a person feel special and for them to cut out their hobby store from buying stuff, right? So I could sponsor you, and now you'll buy stuff from me, and I'll grab your brand loyalty by telling you you're sponsored and give you a better price than you're going to get at the hobby shop.
Oh wow,
So,
that's sort of horrible.
Yeah, it's not great, but I try not to judge that situation. And
It's always ran by like the data guys now, right? So like whatever works data wise, it's just sort of stick with it.
yeah, I mean that's the world we live in. I mean things change quick. I think in business, especially sales, people have short-term business plans. They don't look long-term on how something is going to affect the industry or racing in general. So they just think about how can I sell more RC10s colored in a different color, So yeah, so that's kind of how the sponsorship worked, at least for me. I got to be around a lot of my friends signing contracts, big contracts, when they got sponsored. That was fun, kind of being a friend and consulting them. People, okay, back to you said like you ran into people that bought stuff from us, and our slogan is world famous, and every once in a while there'll be a person that calls us out on that, especially online. Like, I never heard of you. How are you famous? Well, when we first started the store, we were growing pretty rapidly. We were also selling internationally. So we sold a lot of gear to Australia and to the UK, different parts of Europe, Germany. That was a big thing for us. We were huge on eBay. We were one of the top eBay sellers in the RC industry back. I can't see what's down there. Oh, yeah, that was fun. Kind of riding it. We were selling a lot of stuff on eBay, and so I had a lot of international customers. And a buddy of mine, professional 2-time world champion, Matt Francis went to a race. I can't tell if that's a creek down there. That's what I'm going to peek down there. Nope. Don't see any water. He went to a race in Europe, in maybe Norway or something, and ran into one of my really good frequent customers, a guy that I shipped to every month back in the day. So he kind of told me, he's like, oh, you're world famous, Theo, and that kind of stuck, you know. It kind of came also from that. If you lived in Southern California back in the 80s and 90s, 2000s, there was a radio station called K-Rock, and that was their slogan, world famous. So yeah, I kind of ran with it. A lot of other hobby stores and places, they've kind of grabbed onto it after we did. Some of them used it before, but we kind of made it a little bit bigger of a being world famous. But it's just for fun, you know. We're not trying to brag or nothing to brag about.
Yeah, I mean, people like to take stuff literally. It's just just gotta relax a little bit. We're in RC, right? We're here to have fun, yeah. So
there's some bikers here.
So
let's not get ran over.
Oh yes. No, that'll be maybe for good content, but overall it's not gonna turn out good. But what was the question I just had? It was
when I talk about FPV. I mean,
there we go.
Okay,
Yeah,
FPV. Let's talk about FPV.
Yeah, off camera, you mentioned that you had some knowledge that we might not know in FPV.
So I was introduced to FPV personally by a guy named Jeff Parisi. I think I'm saying his name right. I haven't seen him in a long time. But Jeff came into my store a long time ago and said, hey, you should sell FPV. And I was like, well, what is FPV? And he was like, it's where you put a camera on a plane and you can fly it around, not from goggles, but from a screen. This is before goggles. And I was like trying to understand. He was like, yeah, you know, something like they'd use in the military. And I go, well, I'm not in the military and I haven't seen anything like that. And he's like, you know, like during Desert Storm, how the camera would show, you know, a bomb or a plane attacking somewhere. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting it now. Yeah, that's cool. Tell me more about it. So he took me down to the flying field, and he took a plane off, an RC plane. He took it off by, you know, looking at the plane. He threw it, and then he proceeded to get some what do you call it? You know, kind of climb, get some altitude, and then he walked to his car and got in the back seat and closed the door. So I got in the other side, and he's in the back seat of his car with a black sheet over his head. And I'm thinking, what in the heck is this guy doing? Well, he was the first one that I saw ever in RC doing FPV, right? So long story short, he had a monitor attached to the back of his seat, and he would fly RC planes. So, and he found this equipment. Oh, there's the water. Stay away, Ted.
Yes.
Okay.
And the parents over there were very concerned about it. So
about the water? Or?
No, about the car near the kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were just like, please. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, we don't want the kids to have fun. Okay. That being said, yeah, we got really into it at the hobby shop because of Jeff Parisi, and then we got into quadcopters. I did see a guy at the RC track at OCRC with a quadcopter. He was the first one I saw, and it was like so foreign. You know, we'd been selling helicopters, Align helicopters. I think they were called a T-Rex. We've been selling Blade helicopters. Back then they were called E-Flight, but we did that. That was fun. I've roamed around just about everywhere. I'm going to try something else. So I never seen this quadcopter. It was just so fascinating, so different than anything else that I've seen. And we started making our own. Well, Jeff Parisi did. He made his own quadcopter, and we sold it at the store.
Well, was it made out of plywood?
No.
Okay.
It was, what was it made out of? There wasn't 3D printing back then. It was made out of like aluminum and carbon fiber and fiberglass.
Oh, wow.
He had this company make custom, they were out of Florida, custom controller boards. Yeah, it's been so long, I don't remember all of it, but yeah, we sold quadcopters before anyone else I knew. And then quickly DJI came on the scene, and we started selling DJI something called their Flame Wheel. And we were kind of we were definitely the pioneer store in our area to sell DJI. We were the store that when DJI, they were located in Texas at the time, their American facility, headquarters was in Texas. And when they'd fly out here to go to a show, they'd come to our store for technical support and to kind of help them get their stuff ready for the show. So we were selling DJI from the very beginning. We did a lot. Actually, we also sold our own gimbals, our own FPV kit, and our own goggles. We were the first ones. So we actually put them together. We soldered them, all the wiring together. We imported them from different distributors in Taiwan, and we sold FPV, our own kit, kind of before anyone. Because back in the day when it first started, you either could buy DJI, some DJI stuff. There was no Fat Shark at the time. And you could buy these components, but you had to kind of like put them together and solder your own wiring harnesses and kind of figure it out. So we took all that, we made it plug and play. And we did it for a while until like Fat Shark came out and DJI started coming out with FPV stuff, and it kind of got more mainstream. Horizon Hobbies got into it, and so that kind of killed it for us, but we did it for quite a while. So that was fun.
So compared to what you had now and what you're seeing through the goggles now, what's the comparison?
It's more, you're more connected to the vehicle than ever. And at the time they didn't have head tracking. So that part's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, back in the day, we never thought about hooking up to a car. I don't know why, but it's pretty cool.
Oh, are you going to be at Inertia this year?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, come by our section. I mean, we do the air demos.
Yep.
Yeah, come by our section. We're gonna put these cameras on planes, and we're gonna have, or hopefully we'll have extra set of goggles laying on the table, so you could take a little ride along.
All right, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So
thank you.
So you'll be able to experience a little bit of nostalgia of what you had back then.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, wow. Well, you went through all the questions that I had for you. Do you want to add on to anything? Have any final comments? Maybe some shout outs? Yeah.
Shout out to everybody back at the hobby shop. My wife Lindsay and my manager Josh and all the guys back there, guys and gals. Shout out to, I think your next interview should be Jason Coral. Do you know Jason Coral?
I do not.
Jason Coral is an engineer in the RC industry. He's worked for Horizon. He's worked for Team Associated. He's worked for a company called Firelands. He has a lot of experience, not in FPV, but in RC and other fun stuff. So yeah, he'd be a really cool guy to, he currently works for or with the guy that invented Spectrum.
Oh, okay.
This guy named Paul. So.
Okay, so his name was again?
Jason Coral.
Jason Coral. Yeah. All right. If I can't reach him, would you be okay helping me out?
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, well, I think, you actually went through both of my questions. So yeah, Theo, thank you for being on the show, and then we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Awesome.
Awesome.
Let's go.